Whenever you're playing the game, you have to presume that the person on the other end of that gun has been playing the game for 7 years, 24 hours a day. You have to assume they're the best player in the world, and that's how you win gunfights. A lot of people die, and they go, fuck, the guy's just amazing at the game. You should have assumed he was amazing at the game. Then you wouldn't have died to him. Today, we're doing some fun stuff. I think this will be useful for somebody of any skill level. Somebody who's a bronze looking to get to copper, somebody who's platinum looking to be diamonds, and somebody who's, hard stuck gold. Maybe this helps them chip away at that hard stuckness and they can breach into platinum finally. We are going to be doing a VOD review today. So what I'm going to be doing is I have a VOD that I've received. He's currently playing in low tiers competitively, so he wants to be really good at the game. So I get to be as technical as I want to be, which is awesome because everything is wrong with most people's Siege play. Everybody plays the game poorly because it's just not a game you can play perfectly, but you can critique it perfectly. That's my job. I get to have the fun part of telling people what they did wrong. So, without further ado, let's hop into the VOD review. The bans are kind of interesting. Jackal and Melusi. Melusi, I understand, people are having trouble playing against her right now. So it's a little harder it's easy to ban her because you still need to learn to play against her. And honestly, she is a little OP probably. So Jackal kind of makes sense. It's a very roam heavy map, but it's also a very small map. So Jackal can be honestly a bit of a wasted pick on this map because you should be able to hear where they are at many times and don't really need the Jackal pings. Before we even get into any of his gameplay in the rounds, this ADS, it's not great. All the utility is extremely important because it slows down the attackers, obviously. That's the point of the utility, is to stop the attackers from doing their job, attacking. This ADS dies to a drone. How does it die to a drone, you ask? A drone can't shoot? How the fuck would an ADS die to a drone? That doesn't even make sense. Well, it's simple. A drone sees this, and this bench that he's placing it on, bullet penetrable. So a drone sees this, and somebody from out in ruins, which is, for those of you who don't know the callouts on the maps very well, there's that door right there. Straight through that door, way the fuck back there is ruins. A better spot for this ADS, honestly, is just tucked up against the door on the pillar. Right in here. If you can put your ADS right in there, they can't shoot it from outside, they can't really shoot it from the windows very easily, and they have to risk their body if they want to shoot it. So you've got this utility denial that they can't shoot, and that's beautiful. That's what you want your utility to be. All of your utility should be in a spot where it's not easy to destroy. Another thing I'm noticing right away is Jaeger specifically, but on all ops, you have to really be careful about your utility usage. And the problem is you get stuff like what's happening here. The Jaeger placed an ADS in one place and then wandered around and put a reinforcement down. And he's wandered around and put these barbed wire down. It doesn't work out very well because he's super slow, right? You need to get everything done in 4 to 5 seconds. Jaeger has to put down a lot of stuff. So just counting it, he has 2 barbed wire, 3 ADSs, and 2 reinforcements. What is that, like 7 things? 7 times 5. That's already 35 of a second. He has about 10 seconds to run around and put stuff down. But instead, he's using his time, walking around and lollygagging. If you're playing Jaeger especially, or any other operator really, plan out what you're going to do before you spawn in. Have fun with your friends, but be thinking to yourself, okay, I want to reinforce these 2 walls and I want to put my gadgets here. And then start it at one edge and work to the other. He should start with his barbed wire, then go put down that ADS, then put down his first reinforcement, and then we'll see from there. Because that way he's doing it in a line. And the consequence of this is going to be putting down utility well into when the round has started. You can see the round's about to start now in 2 seconds. He's still got a barbed wire and an ADS to put down. Oh, this barbed wire is absolutely atrocious. So before we get into anybody's gameplay, we got to look at what they're doing. Because there's so many nuanced things to this game that can go well or can go wrong. One of those things you're seeing right now. Utility placement is so important. This barbed wire in this game is a very strong utility. A lot of people don't bring it because they just don't understand how it works. To an anchor, a well-placed barbed wire is a free kill. And it's very simple how that works. If somebody wants to destroy a well-placed barbed wire, they either have to expose themselves to start punching it, they have to walk slowly through barbed wire because they don't have a way to destroy it. You get information that they're there, you can peek them because they have to move slowly, you can move quickly. A person who moves slowly is a very easy kill because they're very easy to pre-fire, or they have to use utility to break it. Now, using utility to break a barbed wire sucks as an attacker because you've got a few utilities that do it. You've got Ash Charges, you've got Zofia Impacts, you've got Grenades, maybe a few other things, all of which are very important utility. Grenades are kills. You don't want to be throwing a grenade at a barbed wire to destroy it. That just hurts. Your Ash Charges, that's a shield that you can destroy, but now you can't destroy that shield. There's so little utility that you can use to destroy a barbed wire that you have to be placing your barbed wires in the correct spots, chat. So now let's break down what the correct spot is. If we look at where this Jaeger puts down his barbed wire, he walks through the door, down the hall a little bit, and plops that barbed wire down. Now you might be thinking to yourself, that's a great spot. We can hear them walking through the hallway. But barbed wire isn't primarily about knowing where they are. If we want to know where they are, we listen for their footsteps. This barbed wire serves one purpose: to hear a pshink, pshink, and that's it. And then you have a warning that they might be in luggage. Who knows? They might have backed out. They might have immediately jumped over the window. All of it's pretty useless. If that barbed wire is backed up a little bit. So if you're looking at this map, you have to know where everything is. So this here is Aqua, and this is luggage. So he's just put his barbed wire down right here. Now the problem with this is somebody who wants to push through luggage can see it, break it, back off. They can jump over, they can back off this way. They have so many options for destroying this barbed wire and not exposing their body. Hell, they can even alt walk through this, make almost no noise, tuck themselves into this corner, and then break it from there. That's the thing, chat, is this barbed wire is terrible. But how can you make it better? You put it somewhere by a choke point that they have to walk through that somebody can watch. If you have somebody in Aqua, say they're playing here on the default plant spot, and you put the barbed wire on this box right here. What does this do? Well, if you've got it in the right spot, the radius is such that they can't walk past it. So they have to walk through it. But it's also far enough out that they have to stand in the door or even out of the door a little bit. If you put the barbed wire here, they might have to stand here to destroy it. That's amazing. They have to expose their entire body to destroy a barbed wire or choose to walk through that barbed wire. Let's try and actually get far enough in that we can see some gameplay now. Is he going for a spawn peek? 10 seconds. Okay. If you're going to spawn peek, chat, don't do it 10 seconds into the round. Do it early. At this point, all he's doing is making noise and exposing his head for something that they can have set up to watch now. The only advantage a spawn peek has is surprise. If you come 10 seconds late, worst case, they're set up for it. Best case, there's no one there. It's just not going to work out for you. So he's kind of in a dangerous spot here. He knows somebody died here, so there must be somebody around. Where they killed him from, he doesn't really know. So he's kind of getting a little aggressive here. And now he just heard somebody rappel on a VIP balcony. This is a bad spot for this Jaeger. Why is it a bad spot? Well, when you're peeking outside on a window, the attacker controls... It should. The attacker might not control it. But basically what this is coming down to is you have to pick your gunfights. You don't just take a gunfight because you know you can get it. You take a gunfight because you know you can win it. It's one of the biggest problems that people in every level of this game have. They don't take the gunfight because they think they can win the gunfight. They don't take the gunfight because they think it's in their favor. They take the gunfight because they think, hey, this is a gunfight. And that's it. Then they take the gunfight. So what you're probably going to see here is Jaeger swing on this window and try and kill that whoever's out there. And then what you'll see is one of two things. Either Jaeger's going to sit in this corner and the Gridlock's going to swing him and kill him with some info. You've got to sit perfectly still so that you can't make any noise. It's the only chance you have of winning this and taking them by surprise. If you don't have the element of surprise in this, you lose every time. Or you should lose every time to a good player. Because they know where you are, they can pre-fire you. Pre-fire is one of the strongest things in this game. Or you're going to see Jaeger swing. And if Jaeger swings, one of two things happens. Either he wins the gunfight and, well, it works out for him and it really shouldn't have, or person pushing in hears him and from there they just pre-fire. And it's that simple, chat. Pre-fire is so strong in this game. So let's see how it plays out. They're shooting. And he starts swinging on the window, and how does it work out? So he starts that push. The Gridlock hears the push, starts pre-firing, but then lets off that trigger too early. So if you're in the position of that Gridlock, chat, what do you want to do? You want to swing on the window, pre-firing that window. Your goal is to kill whoever's on the other side of that window because you know they're there. Swing on the window and you kill the person on that window, just pre-firing. Literally that simple to kill them. You don't stop your pre-fire because then what happens is Gridlock happens. He's got to be careful. Oh, shit. So if he's running back out this way, he's got to be careful of that roof. People go on that roof so often because it's a really strong angle for an attacker. So what he should do here is tuck his tail and run. If he thinks he can get past these bars without getting shot, he should go into 90, which is just to his east. If he doesn't think he can do that, take your pistol out, sprint back into VIP, or crawl along this hole. Don't take this gunfight. But, as you can expect, he takes the gunfight. And there's absolutely no way he wins that. So, yeah, I mean, you just don't win that gunfight, right? So let's just back it up and watch it again. He goes to peek. And what do we get when he peeks? Well, he sort of peeks into it like he's going to check something. He leans out of the peek. And then I guess he tries to propulse himself in, but he, again, right here, he's stopped leaning. So what he's doing is, I'll show you on my camera. He's shouldering his shoulder, and he can't quite see because he's not leaning into it, right? It's as if the camera ended here. You can see his shoulder, but you can't see him. If he leaned into it, he might be able to see, but it just doesn't work out that way. So then, yeah, I mean, there's basically nothing he can shoot at here because it's one of these angles where, honestly, because of the stream quality, you might not be able to see it because there's about 6 pixels here that he can shoot. Right, just right of his crosshair. There's a little bit of a fuzzy line there that's kind of like a little bulge. That's all he has to shoot at. There might not even be a head hitbox there that he can shoot at. And his only hope is to hit a headshot here because she started shooting first. She has the advantage. But the problem with this, taking this gunfight, is you can see pixels of her. She can see your entire body when you're peeking. This is a matter of think about your gunfight before you take your gunfight. This gunfight, you should never win. You know, 2 in 100 times will you win this. There's literally no pixels here. And he's firing at nothing. And then the only time he has something to shoot at right here, his cursor is so far off because despite having good recoil control, despite the 416 having so little recoil, you still can't control it perfectly, especially when you're wiggling around as much as this guy is. And so the problem you get is you're trying to pre-fire a person not in the correct spot, and you're trying to pre-fire a head hoping that they don't shoot your body. It's a simple matter of time. If that Zophia's gun can kill you in 3/4 of a second, you have to hit a headshot in 3/4 of a second where she can see your entire body. It's just not ever going to happen. So far, chat, what you should be taking out of this is utility placement is important, and your gunfights you're taking are even more important. You should always be thinking about what your gunfight is going to be. Oh, and that barbed wire, chat, is exactly what I'm talking about again. Somebody can sit in these plants, which is basically impossible for you to peek, and break that barbed wire without you having a chance to shoot them at all. It's basically a useless barbed wire that is just going to get punched twice and not use any of its effectiveness. If you put it in this corner right here where he's looking, just jammed in this corner, their options for destroying it are walk halfway up the stairs and start punching barbed wire, which should be a free kill for a defender literally at the top of the stairs. Their option is to throw a grenade at it, wasting extremely precious utility, or to just ignore it and walk through the barbed wire while you're pushing up the stairs, giving you the slowest peak in existence and what should be a free kill, like, all because you're thinking about where you're putting your barbed wire and what the utility of that barbed wire is instead of just blindly putting your barbed wire down in a choke point. It's very important stuff to think about when you're learning to play this game, because you can win rounds off of stuff like this. So, if you look at the map, we back it up a little bit, the entire map is roaming. There is a Vigil outside in Office. There's a Mozzie on 90. There's a Legion in Pentest, but maybe in Guitar Hall. And this Mute over here. The only salvation is this Mute over here, sitting on Cool Vibes. The entirety of site is free, chat. The attackers, if they use their drones, which again is a thing you should so much do. The drones are so unbelievably important. If they drone that site and they see there's nobody on site, it should be free. You 5-man in there and there's no way they can take it. There's absolutely no way they can take site back if they do it right. The round is 20 seconds in. We haven't seen any gameplay yet, and yet the attackers should have already won this round. It's an attacker-sided map, and the defenders are playing very, very off-site with no way of controlling site. I don't know, chat.
Lots of roamers.
And then he notices it, but does he go back to site? But it looks like he's just going to continue his roam. So, chat, don't expect your team to do everything for you. If you're playing solo ranked, sometimes that's the way it is, and you have to play like the entire team depends on you playing perfect, because the rest of your team is just not going to play perfectly. There's 2 ways to play ranked. You either have to be the IGL and hope that your team listens, or you have to play solo and you have to play extremely smart solo. It doesn't matter what your operator is. If you're playing Jaeger, that's a roaming operator. But if there's nobody on site and you can't get somebody to go back to site, go back to site. Be an anchor. Play the game the way it's meant to be played, not the way you want to play it, and you will win more. I understand that it's a little less fun to not be a roamer. That's why nobody on your team is doing it. That's why you might not be progressing skill-wise, is because you're just trying to take empty blank gunfights instead of holding the site to win. You know what I mean? The more your brain is thinking about what's going on and what your teammates are doing, the more everything happens. You can progress so fast in this game by doing that. So this, this is stupid, chat. I hate to say it, but this is one of the stupidest things I think I've ever seen. Chat, if you open doors, punching them, stop immediately. Don't do that. Do not punch a door down. That is the most vulnerable spot you can be in, punching a door down. Because you punch it, you punch it, you punch it, it breaks. And all those times the defender can peek you whenever he wants because he knows exactly where you are. Don't let the defenders know where you are and give them free kills. Shoot the door down. Then they have to use your gunshots and they can't really peek into them. Further, something like this. This Jaeger dies 9 times out of 10 to somebody shooting down that barricade. Why? Because he's behind the fucking barricade. You're shooting that barricade down, you're shooting the Jaeger. It's just that simple. And with the crazy spray you have to do to destroy a barricade, you're probably headshotting him too. He's not even ADS'd on the door. There's absolutely no reason that you should lose this fight if you're going in through service here. This should be a free kill for you. And now to bring it over into advice, if you are this Jaeger, hide somewhere, tuck behind something. Remember, chat, when you're expecting to take a gunfight, you're playing against the greatest players in the world. They're going to shoot this door down, and then they're going to drone in. So what do you want to do? You want to tuck behind something. You want to hold an angle so that either you can shoot the drone, destroying vital utility, or if you get lucky and they don't drone in because they figure it's just clear off, some weird game sense, then you get a surprise kill. Because again, your goal is to take a gunfight that's most advantageous to you, not just a gunfight. Now, remember, everything I say, chat, it's possible that they win the round. It's possible that they take it back. It's possible that despite making all these mistakes, they still manage to win. And that's because you never lose the game until you've lost the game, right? Just because you make a mistake doesn't mean you can't come back from it, because nobody plays a perfect game of Siege. The enemy team is also making these same mistakes. As long as you stop making more mistakes than they do, you can win any round. Stop making blatant mistakes because you want to take a gunfight because it's fun, and take a gunfight that's advantageous. If you stop making a blatant mistake of sitting off site as every other roamer is, and move back towards site, you're gonna win more games because you're gonna cause the enemies to make more mistakes than you are. Every mistake you make is a mistake for the enemy to capitalize on. Every mistake you don't make is a mistake you can capitalize of theirs on. If you're both making mistakes, nobody's capitalizing on anything. But remember, assume the people you're playing against are the best players in the world. They make mistakes too. You've got to capitalize on those mistakes. So chat. I'm gonna put it back. I'm gonna mute the music for a second. I'm gonna put it back. Listen to what you hear immediately after he asks if there's people on the roof.
Better not be someone on the roof again. It'd be sad.
Zope was on the roof when they killed our
This bit.
Those are footsteps on the roof directly above him. So, what do we do with this information, chat? Because you now have information that they don't know you have. That means you can capitalize on one of their mistakes. That mistake being that presumably Zoe, or whoever it is on the roof, walking around on the roof making noise. You have a few paths you can do. You know they have control of hookah. You know their goal is going to be to plant very soon. So what do, chat? Do you push up this hallway and attack site? Well, probably not. That's probably suicide. If you push through the door, there's going to be 8 guns watching you. I know there's only 4 people on their team. They're going to find 4 extra guns, tape them to their guns, and shoot you with 8 guns by walking through that door. There's just no way it happens. You can move around to luggage, but you just heard somebody above you. There's only one reason to be on the roof in that spot. And that reason is very simple, because you want to stop somebody rotating through luggage. I guarantee you that if that Zofia, or whoever it is on the roof, is doing their job correctly, there is a 0% chance that this Jaeger makes it through that luggage alive. Okay, so there's only 2 more paths you can take. You can go back down the stairs and up Cool Vibes. Yeah, maybe. It'll take a long time, but if your goal is to push site, then that's honestly your only potentially viable spot. But again, it depends how they set themselves up, right, chat? So you got to be thinking about all these things very quickly. And that's what makes Siege a hard game to play well. Anybody can get good aim with very simple practice regimens. Either way, it's very easy to learn aim. The hard part in this game is learning the game. And it's decisions like these that you have to make quickly. So what I'm alluding to is there's another option, and it's extremely non-obvious, but you can set up for the post-plant. You can wait for them to plant and predict what they're going to do when they plant and capitalize on it. You checked bedroom very weakly as you walked past it, or penthouse, and it didn't look like there was anyone there. So when you hear this person above you, push through penthouse, get into VIP, and open that big window. Why? What's the first thing that you do when you plant in hookah? You send somebody out on hookah balk, and you send somebody to rappel on hookah window. There's 4 bodies. That means 2 more bodies. One can die planting, and another body can just sit in sight and act as an early warning. The air jabs are already there, likely. I mean, we know they have a nomad at the very least. We presume she's in sight. We know they can just put down air jabs and stop you completely from getting into sight. And then there's somebody in sight that can shoot you. And then there's people outside of sight that can stop you from defusing. But how do you stop that? Well, you think ahead and you go, okay, if they're going to plant, I need to be able to stop as many of them as I can. And the best way to do that is probably to jump out on VIP balk, otherwise known as DJ. For those of you that might not know the map so well, Jaeger is sitting right here. If he rotates through penthouse and breaks this window right here, he can jump out and before he's spotted, see somebody on the window right here and somebody on the balcony out here. If he kills the person on the balcony first, this person on the window literally can't look at him because of how angles work. They can only look 90 degrees left. They can't look over their shoulder when they're repelled. So you get 2 free kills by jumping out on this balcony if they set up right. And again, we're presuming that they're a very smart team. So we're going to presume they set up right. If they don't, you didn't really lose that much because all you've done is let them plant in a situation where you couldn't really prevent them from plant anyway without extreme luck. So by jumping out of this balcony, you gain a lot of advantages by capitalizing on potential mistakes. A potential mistake is they're not watching this or they didn't hear this window break. And that's an easy mistake to make because the person on this balcony has to be worried about people running out from below. They have to worry about people running out from this door if they take control of hookah. There's so many options that this person has to worry about that they're probably not hard watching your DJ run out. And second, you can pre-fire that person. You know they might be there, so you start pre-firing, and he who pre-fires first usually wins, chat. So even if that's the greatest player in the world sitting right here, if you start pre-firing as you swing through this, as long as he's not pre-firing, there's a good chance you win that fight. And then this person on the window is completely free. That's a really good position to be in, chat, right? You want to be in that position where you can get a free kill or 2 free kills, especially in a post plant. But you have to have the foresight to make that decision to push out on this balcony. If you push anywhere else, you're probably going to die, and you're probably going to go into a meat grinder of trying to push into sight and them just killing you. It's one of those things that you just have to think about. It might not be the obvious answer, and it probably isn't the obvious answer, but it is the correct answer here, I would say. I'd say if this Jaeger does anything else, this round is probably lost. And let's see what he does. The pre-fire is not bad there because you can get a random kill from it. I mean, it works, but it's a stall tactic. And please don't go through luggage. Please go downstairs. Best case scenario, the Zofia died at their keyboard and doesn't kill him. He kind of peeks to check it, and I'm amazed. I'm amazed that the Zofia... Okay, there it is, there it is. So the Zofia's asleep at the wheel. All right, so let's push a little deeper in. He kills the Nomad, that's good. They're not expecting him here. They probably should have. And now we're in a 1-2... What the fuck? Chat? Anyone who wants to tell me that this game is not broken can watch that clip of that freaking air jab going off and not knocking this Jaeger down. And that, chat, is exactly why I retired from being a captain and decided to become a coach, because coaching, I don't have to care if that happens. Okay, so he gets a call that they're on cool vibes. He gets past. He should probably pre-fire. Oh. And we knew that round was going to be lost from 20 seconds into the round, chat. Wow. If you're still here watching and you're not a follower, you might as well follow. Come on, it's free. You don't even have to subscribe. Just follow. It's free. If you're watching this on YouTube later, man, you got it so easy on YouTube Life. You watch half a video, you're, however long you are into this video, just subscribe, man. You've enjoyed it this far. You're going to get quality content like this. You're going to get funny content like stuff I'm doing later in the stream. You might as well just subscribe to the YouTube channel. Come on, it's free. And then if you, personally, you there in Chatland or out there on YouTube, want to have your VOD watched and critiqued like I'm critiquing this one, I promise it's very helpful to you. And if you're watching on YouTube, just go down into the comments or down into the, press expand more and there'll be a Google form. Just fill that out, send me a VOD, and we can watch your VOD. How do they win this round? Okay, well, all I'll say is that Smoke hit a great shot, and that Smoke made a terrible mistake. Put yourself in the mind frame of this Smoke. Your friend just died, you want the trade. Cool. What else is important about the round right now? There's about 20 seconds left in it, and you're a Smoke. If this Smoke still has smoke grenades, and I haven't heard many smoke canisters going out, just throw a smoke canister at jungle. Don't bother peeking it with the SMG-11. That's such a long shot. You're putting so much faith into your aim when you can win just by stalling it out and throwing a smoke grenade. This is good. Dance a little bit sometimes to it. And you saw that. Alright. This is a good drone. I mean, so here's the thing. If he's playing entry frag, which he's playing Zofia, this makes sense for a drone. If you, at higher levels of the game, at lower levels of the game, save your drone and just drone yourself twice. Because you're alone. But if you're in a 3-stack, which these guys are, then you know for a fact that you have other people who can drone you in. But if you're alone, save both of your drones, drone yourself in twice. Because your drone is an extra life. Don't think of your drone as this little camera dinky brink thing that you can look around with. That camera is a second life. You drive that camera around and you look around, and it gets shot, now you know somebody's there. That could have been a time where you peeked and then died. If you think of it that way, it's a lot easier to get in the mind frame of use more drones. Free kills. All right, anyways. If you're playing with a team, this makes sense if you're an entry frag to just set up your drone. Although, we are 15 seconds into the round, so I would highly suggest there's a setting, chat, to automatically leave your drone. If this happens to you often, turn that setting on. You're wasting your time. 20 seconds. 20 seconds wasted, chat, thinking that it was still the prep phase. Or alt-tabbed. If it was alt-tabbed, it's a bigger issue. He was on his phone. Okay, chat, don't be on your phone between rounds. Come on. Go on your chat when you're waiting for the queue. Or go on your phone when you're waiting for the queue. Your mother's not calling. Come on. Chat, if you don't know about this, he can shoot the camera from here. Very nice angle. You should definitely use it. He should ask for somebody to drone him in. Finally, the Zofia does, or the Nomad does it, a minute and a half into the round. You've wasted a minute and a half trying to figure out who's going to do what and push and drone and stuff. This will be interesting. Here's a giant life lesson for you, chat. Giant life lesson. If you want something, ask for it. Listen, it all comes back to that old Kobe quote. This isn't the quote, I'm paraphrasing. If you never ask, you're never going to get what you want. Just ask, and sometimes good things will happen, chat. You know that bandit just ran out. But you can tell from the direction he's going. He's cutting back in. He's going to go through security. He is not coming through blue. I will bet you 5 gifted subs. 5 gifted subs, chat, that he doesn't go through blue bar here. I haven't watched this VOD, so we'll see who owes who. I bet you he does not go back through blue bar here. And he's gone through security. So if you look at the way that those icons are moving, you can tell where they're going. If they're coming at you, they're not. I mean, chat, you don't actually have to give me 5 subs. I don't get to force you to give me subs. I'm the only one who can give you subs. Realistically, all that happened there was you could have won 5 subs. But yeah, you can tell based on that trajectory that there's absolutely no way, just the way the bandit's moving, there's no way he's going. So pay attention to what you see because all the information is useful. That bandit, there's no way he's going back into blue bar. Ah, Jesus Christ. Thank you for the 5 gifted subs, Alec. I appreciate those. You didn't actually have to give me the 5 gifted there, but I do appreciate it. He's getting the hell out of dodge.
Dude, this guy just
Droning, I'm glad. I don't know if he called that Jaeger or not, but now he's getting way too aggressive here.
I can watch that for you, Ying.
Okay, so in this case, you have 3 people in that door. Don't drone it and then immediately run in. Drone it and tell your friend to run it. Why? Because then, 1, you get the refrag if he dies. That's free kills, chat. Free kills. If we're just worried about our own score, don't go in. Don't go spot something and then run in. Let your teammate do that. Let your teammate knock him down to 2 health. So when you spit on him, he dies. F-R-E-E. That spells free, chat. That spells free. Let's count the seconds. Let's count the seconds that he has complete control of Sunrise. It starts here, 2:05. Already not looking good, chat. You've already wasted 10 seconds. And now, chat, now you've gone and wasted 20 seconds. How many more seconds can you waste? There's 25 seconds standing around in one spot hoping somebody's going to do something. At least you're kind of clearing stuff now, but it's been 30 seconds, chat. 30 seconds. We're just counting up right now. There we go. Finally, we drone. 35 seconds of completely wasted time when you could have done that to start with and moved the fuck on and started pushing. It could have gone so much better. It's so much quicker. If you win this round, listen, chat. You had 2.5 minutes of a 3v4. Use that time to actually do something useful instead of have 3 people standing doing absolutely nothing. If you win this round at the end of this, it is a fluke. I don't care who you are. It is a fluke that you win this round. You have a minute to kill 4 people. You had 2.5 minutes. Time is the most valuable thing in both life and Siege. Don't waste your time. Especially in this game. If you're going to stand around for 30 seconds, what's the point of playing the game? You're here to play the game and you're here to win. If you're watching a VOD review, you want to get better. So you want to learn to win. Why are you standing around for 30 seconds, chat? Why are you doing it? Why do you do this to yourself? Why? Just push. Drone something. Always be doing something. If you're sitting around doing nothing, you have a damn good reason. Or you better have a damn good reason to be sitting around doing nothing. And you better not be doing it for more than 15 seconds. Make that decision 33 seconds earlier. And all of a sudden, this round is 1:40 with 3v4, and you know you have control of 3/4 of the map. That's a winning situation. Right now, you're 3v4, and you finally figured out you have control of the map. You've got a minute left. It's going to take somebody fragging out of their mind. Sure, it might happen, but is it consistent that you can frag out of your mind? Of course not. Nobody can frag out of their mind 100% of the time, because you're always playing against the best players in the world. Remember that. Every person you play against, Chad, is the best person who's ever played this game, ever.